This is an exercise in comparing two non-fiction texts. Firstly, we'll look at what is the text about in each case. Okay, with text A, we can see that it's about somewhere called Holcombe Manor. We see the phrase "our hosts," and they treated us like royalty. Look at cosy bedroom and breakfast the next morning. It's beginning to seem as if this is about people staying at a bed and breakfast at a place called Holcombe Manor. Look at text B. Again, we've got Holcombe Manor. Our room was cramped. A barely adequate breakfast. So again, it seems to be bed and breakfast at Holcombe Manor. We can say the same thing for both. It's about staying at a hotel or guest house called Holcombe Manor. Next, what is the writer's attitude to Holcombe Manor? Okay, text A. Look at these positive phrases. I felt at home. There was a magnificent hall, a huge welcoming fire. Audrey and Frank treated us like royalty. Cosy bedroom, splendid bed, delightfully old-fashioned ensuite, superb breakfast. It's all very positive. Next, B. Avoid Holcombe Manor because it's miles from the nearest village. They think it's remote, it's cut off. Same thing applies to the phone signal. They don't like their room, it's cramped, dirty. Breakfast is barely adequate. Poor Frank is described as bumbling and inefficient. So, in summary, text A, writer felt at home, found it welcoming, liked the hosts, enjoyed it. Text B, found it cut off, cramped, dirty, disliked the host, didn't enjoy it. Next, what impression do you get of the writer? So, look at those phrases. Half-timbered Tudor house. That sounds like somebody who's interested in historical architecture. A moat, even a moat. They're enthusiastic about that historical feature. Delightfully old-fashioned. Again, they like old things. And exuded tranquility. It rather sounds as if they appreciate peace and quiet. Text B's writer, on the other hand, talk about the past as being uncivilized. They don't seem to like history very much. And they are critical of the owners as being ever so posh, which is a rather snide way of describing them. The word ancient, if that was in text A, that could be a positive feature, but here it's a criticism of the bed. And then poor Frank is described as bumbling and inefficient, and Lord of the Manor suggests that they think he is too big for his own boots or something like that. It's a criticism of his being upper class, in effect. So that's what we can say. Text A, writer likes peace and quiet, interest in history. Text B, they like modern facilities. They're not in favour of posh people, upper class people. Perhaps they're intolerant. Next question. How would you describe the general tone and style? Well, we don't really need to look back at what we've said so far to sum up the tone and style here. The first one, text A, is very enthusiastic and positive, and text B is generally negative and even insulting. And finally, are there any interesting language features to comment on? Let's have a look. In text A, we've got the words quaint, gentle, cosy. Words that are positive but a little bit cliched. And there's a fairly formal tone. Look at that phrase, exuded tranquility. That's quite formal, although recharge your batteries is slightly more colloquial in an old-fashioned kind of way. And text B starts by addressing readers. Avoid Holcombe Manor, so it's an imperative, a direct instruction. And there's a colloquial tone in Ever So Posh and Lord of the Manor. So there we can look at all the boxes filled in.